When it comes to developing nations, very often the quality of medical advice and service are among the biggest problems. Contrary to some common impressions, access is not itself always problematic. For instance, in urban India, a typical person will average 5 doctor visits per year. You can compare this to the USA, where the average is 3.15 doctor visits a year. Obviously, that's not a problem of access per se. The problem, perhaps, is that not all doctors are as wise or as benevolent as maybe this person pictured here. Researchers found this very typical case in India. The individual had had only a 6-month long-distance course in Ayurvedic medicine. That doctor saw about 200 patients a day. He spent about 3.5 minutes per patient, and at the end what he typically did is simply crushed some pills for them and sent them away. Or we could look at some more systematic information about the Indian city of Delhi, which of course is the country's capital. In that setting, it was found that when parents brought in their children for possible risk of diarrhea, that the doctors, well, only about 25% asked about blood in the stool, which is one of the first questions that typically would be asked. Only 49% of the doctors asked whether the child had a fever, and only 7% of the doctors checked for depression in the skull of the child, which is considered to be a good test of dehydration. Diarrhea, of course, is a very common ailment, so it seems those doctors simply weren't performing very well. If we move away from India, we also can find problematic results in Tanzania, in Africa. A study of Tanzania found that doctors there, on average, complete less than 1/4 of the essential checklist for patients with symptoms of malaria. A related and additional problem in many countries is that many individuals do not even visit doctors in the first place, but they may go to something like a shaman or a witch doctor or a faith healer, where the standards of care are probably not even up to what we are measuring for the doctors. In general, the main problems are not that some patients are treated better than other patients by the same doctor, but rather the problems are quite systemic, and they come from the doctors not being great in the first place. Those problems include absenteeism, what you might call variation in competence across doctors, and incompetent doctors appear to behave incompetently for all of their patients, variation in effort across doctors, and also it seems that on average, public sector clinics are often somewhat worse than private clinics, even when both are bad, and this may be because public sector clinic doctors are very often simply on a fixed salary and they want to get patients out the door as quickly as possible. You add up all these problems, and again, we're back to the quality of medical care very often simply not being very good. The source on these numbers, the best single article to read, and also a general survey of the field, can be found in this article by Dashammer and Leonard, The Quality of Medical Advice in Low-Income Countries, and it's available free and online.